Welcome to MarchFifteen in Conversations. I really would like to introduce you to John Carbone, a notorious entrepreneur, self-made man, and founder and president of Berkshire Access, which is a jewel in Ontario real estate development industry with a focus on innovative development in both industrial and residential projects. Furthermore, Entrepreneurs Growing Entrepreneurs is a big part of what the organization does. Help make smart people realize their audacious goals and dreams. And your interest in ventures really is very, very broad, from fashion to film and media, technology, artificial intelligence, aside of real estate. So this is fantastic to talk with this entrepreneur, with John, about it. A loving father and a grandfather who loves dotting over his grandchildren when the time is permitting. So let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. As a successful entrepreneur, how do you see the real estate industry today? We are in the midst of COVID. What is happening? Where are we today? And where do you think the industry is going?
We're fortunate that we're predominantly right now in the condo market, high-rise, and we're bigger in the industrial sector. I like to think that we invented this condo converted industrial product that we sell to small enterprises. So I'd say that we're not suffering. Our high-rise condo on Parliament is totally sold out and starting to close. And our industrial sector, we've had probably the best month in over 12 months.
Congratulations.
So I think if I had to say right now, do you have to pick a sector to be in? I'd say the only sector I'd want to be in is industrial. Even the condo sector, high-rise condo sector and the housing sector is an issue. If you're in single-family homes, you're fine because they're just not going to make land anymore. High-rise condo, I think, given COVID, will probably be slower than usual because of the COVID and the immigration is that no one's coming in here. Assuming COVID is resolved, I think this GTA will have a bright future. I mean, the growth in the GTA in the next 10, 15 years is in the millions of people. Mm-hmm. So, and it is a center, I'm sure nobody wants to hear it in Canada, but it is a center of Canada. It's probably the biggest segment of the economy. So I honestly believe right now you wouldn't want to be in the retail sector, which includes hotels, includes shopping centers, includes theaters, includes all that. That's a nightmare. That's going to be, assuming COVID is solved, that's going to be 3 to 4 years to get resolved. The question for going forward will be what happens to all these segments, all these sectors of the real estate industry because of COVID, and also we don't know what the financial markets are going to do to us. We don't know how the banks are going to react. Right now everybody's bending over backwards because the government's bending over backwards because basically they've been told to bend over backwards. But going forward, it's going to be an issue. Right now, as we discussed beforehand, you need a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. We just got a survey from McKinsey, and basically people can't see this getting resolved at least for 4 to 6 months. Mm-hmm. And the retail sector, the people who are going out and buying in stores, going to shopping, going to theaters, going to hotels, traveling, airplanes, all that, that's just not going to happen. So I just don't see how this is going to work yet, and that's why you need a plan B, C, D. And that's kind of how we're approaching this, just sticking to the basics and trying to control our environment as much as possible and trying to keep our people employed.
And with this in mind, having had the best month in the year as compared to last year, with the world suffering, most of our clients are really scratching their heads on how to reinvent themselves. Over 70% of organizations in Canada are negatively impacted by this pandemic. What makes you so successful? What do you attribute to your continuous positive growth? What's the secret sauce?
There is a secret sauce. I think we happen to fall in the right segment, which is as I said, the industrial segment. Mm-hmm. Because of COVID, all the online business have gone crazy, which requires a ton of industrial space. The vacancy rate in the GTA right now is less than 0.5%.
Yeah.
So that will continue. So the secret sauce, there's really no secret sauce. I honestly believe that I just happen to be in the right space at the right time. If there's anything that I would say we have secret sauce in, is in making sure that our balance sheet is clean and strong, making sure that we've always accounted and allowed for at least a year of overhead in our planning. We're conservative, extremely hard-nosed about things. Soon as when this thing hit, the first thing we said is, okay, we had a ton of closings coming up between March and the end of August, literally over $200 million worth of closings. Mm-hmm. So we rearranged our focus. We said the focus now is to make sure that every closing happens, come hell or high water. Yeah. And we got to make sure that the team stays together. We got to make sure that we don't lose sight of the cash flow. Make sure that we don't lose sight of people's health, of our partners, of our investors. So we kind of just stuck to knitting, mm-hmm. and to some extent, I've been in the business world 40 years, so you kind of get old with it and you kind of experience it. And if you learn from the past and you learn from your mistakes, and there's some mistakes you made in your early part of your life and your career that you're not going to ever make again. The only one we suffered in was 82. We were new, we were young, we weren't well financed, and we paid a huge price, health-wise, all sorts of things. But 82 taught me not to avoid 89. We locked in 2008 because we got bought out of all our real estate for some reason. I don't know what, but it's okay. Every rodeo I learned how to ride the horse a little bit better. And that's kind of the secret sauce, but being conservative. Yeah. I always say play to size. Play to your size. And that applies to whether you're an athlete, whether you're in business, whether you've got to play to what your strengths are.